Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Muhammad Harith Irfan bin Khairul Fazlee. My metric number is A20EC0089. I am from 1SECV-H. Okay guys, so today I'm gonna present about chapter 9, which is privacy, security and ethics. So guys, we meet my friend first, which is that is my friend. His name is Anthony. So Anthony, hi, he said, I am Anthony and I am an IT security analyst. I had like to talk with you about privacy, security and ethics. Three critical topics for anyone who uses computer today. I would also like to talk about how you can protect your privacy, ensure your security and act ethically. So there's some words from Anthony. So the introduction for this chapter is the ubiquitous use of computers and technology prompts some very important questions about the use of the personal data and our right to privacy. So this chapter covers issues related to the impact of the technology on people and how to protect ourselves on the web. Okay guys, so we move to our next part, which is people. So as we discussed, information system consists of people, procedures, software, hardware, data, and the internet. So this chapter is focused on people. While most everyone agrees that technology has had a very positive impact on people, it is important to recognize the negative or potentially negative impact as well. Effective implementation of computer technology involves maximizing its positive effects while minimizing its negative effects. So the most significant concern there are 3 points, and the first one is privacy. So for privacy, what are the threats to personal privacy and how can we protect ourselves? So the second one, security. For security is how can access to sensitive information be controlled, and how can we secure hardware and software. So the last one is ethics. So for ethics is how do the actions of individual users and companies affect society. So next we move to the privacy. So privacy concerns the collection and use of data about individuals. There are 3 primary privacy issues. The first one is accuracy. So accuracy relates to the responsibility of those who collect data to ensure that the data is correct. The second one is property. Property is related to who owns the data. So the last one is access. Access relates to the responsibility of those who have data to control who is able to use the data. So the next part is large database. So for large database, big data is exploding and ever growing. For your information, 90% of the data collected has been collected over the last 2 years. Next one is data collectors include government agencies, telephone companies, credit card companies, supermarket scanners, financial institutions, search engines, and also social networking sites. So information resellers or brokers. So a vast industry of data gatherers known as information resellers or information brokers now exists that collects, analyze and sells personal data. They also create electronic profiles or highly detailed and personalized descriptions of individuals. So personal information is marketable commodity which raises many issues, such as collecting public but personally identifying information. For example, the Google Street Views. So the next one is spreading information without personal consent, leading to identifying theft. Last one is spreading inaccurate information. This is an example of mistaken identity in which the electronic profile of one person is switched with another. So the last one for large database is the law allows you to gain access to those records about you that are held by credit bureaus under the Freedom of Information Act. You are also entitled to look at your record held by government agencies. So the next part is private network. So for private network suppose you to use your company's electronic mail system to send a CO worker an unflattering message about your supervisor, or to send a highly personal message to a friend. Later you find the boss has been reading the emails. In fact, many business search employees' electronic mail and computer files using employee monitoring software. So the software employers can monitor email legally. It is a proposed law could prohibit this type of electronic monitoring, or at least require the employer to notify the employee first. So for the internet and web, usually experts call this the illusion of anonymity. Illusion of anonymity, yes. So people are not concerned about privacy when surfing the internet or when sending email. So when browsing the web, critical information is stored in the hard drive as history files, temporary internet files, cookies, privacy mode, and also spyware. So the history files and temporary internet files. History files include the location or address of sites you have recently visited. So the temporary internet files, or it also known as browser cake, also contain web page content and instruction for displaying this content. Whenever you visit the website, these files are saved by your browser. If you leave a site, then return later, these files are used to quickly redisplay web content. So for the cookies are small data files that are deposited on your hard disk from website you have visited. So there are two types of cookies, which is first party cookies that are generated only by website that you are visiting, and the next one is third party. Third party cookies are generated by an advertising company that is affiliated with the website. So the third party, also known as tracking cookies, that keep track of your internet activities through third party cookies. It also refers to the accompanying graphic displaying how to block third-party cookies. So that's some example. So the next one is privacy mode. Okay, so privacy mode, in addition, most browsers also offer a privacy mode, which is ensure that browsing activity is not recorded on your hard disk. For example, Google Chrome provides incognito mode and accessible from the Chrome menu, and Safari provides private browsing accessible from the Safari option in main menu.
Hi, my name is Xian. Today I'm going to talk about online identity. What is online identity? Online identity is a sum of your characteristics, in which each characteristic you created represents yourself in a specific situation that define you in the internet. As you can see, every highlighted word in these sentences is actually have their own meaning. For example, this red highlighted word, the sum of your characteristic is actually known by identity. So now what is identity? Identity is like the characteristic you have in your real life and cannot be changed. For example, your name, your birthday. Secondly, each characteristic you created is also meant by the partial identity. Partial identity is the characteristic that you created and you created to let someone know that you have that characteristic. For example, the story that you post with Facebook. Besides, there is another word represent yourself in a specific situation. It's also known as persona. For example, your Facebook account. And lastly, the blue word, which is define you in the internet. It's like the account that you created internet that shows that the account is you. For example, it's also known as identifier. For example, your email address or your username. In this slide, I'm going to talk about the major privacy laws. In the internet, there's actually a lot of privacy laws existed to protect the user's data. And in this slide, I'm going to show some of the examples of the major privacy laws. First of all, we have the Gramm-Leach-Bliley Act. This law requires the financial institutions, which is also known as the companies that offer customer financial products or service, to explain their information sharing practice to their customers. Besides, it also safeguard the customer sensitive data so that the data of the customer can be stored safely. Secondly, we have the Family Educational Rights and Privacy Act. This law gives the right for the parents to access to their children's education records, to seek to have the records amended, and to have some control over the disclosure of personally identifiable information from the education records. Thirdly, we have the Health Insurance Portability and Accountability Act. This law allows the national standards to protect sensitive patient health information from being disclosed without the patient consent. With this law, the patient health information is able to store safely and prevent from the third party to take their data. So in this slide, I'm going to talk about the cybercrimes. In the internet, there's a lot of type of cybercrimes happens around, and one of the cybercrimes is called malicious program. And this type of cybercrimes is happen commonly in the internet. So malicious program is an attack that attack a computer or network in the form of virus, worms, trojans, spyware, adware, or even the rootkits. These type of attacks infect the user laptop and eventually change the data inside the laptop. Besides, we also have the DOS. DOS is also known as the denial of service. It is an attack to cause the computer system to slow down or eventually stop. Thirdly, we have the Roach Wi-Fi hotspot. Roach Wi-Fi hotspot often imitate a legitimate Wi-Fi hotspot to capture the personal information of the user. When the user access to the free hotspot in their system, at that time, the user is giving the chance for the unknown party to access to their data and eventually to take their personal information for their own use. And this is quite dangerous. After that, we have another form of cybercrimes, which is called data manipulation. Data manipulation is an attack that involves in phishing and social engineering survey to obtain access to the system and allow them to change data. After that, we also have the identity thief. Identity thief is an illegal assumption of the person's identity for their beneficial. It's like stealing the information of other users and use it for their own beneficial. Then we have another type of cybercrimes called internet scams. Internet scams is the use of internet service or software with internet access to defraud victims or to otherwise take advantage of them. Some of the common internet scam is like they're giving out the free iPhone X, iPhone 12, and for those who are believe in them, they will click into the website and therefore their personal data will be stolen once they click into the website. Last but not least, the last form of cybercrime is called cyberbullying. Cyberbullying can be done by everyone that using the internet to hurt and embarrass another person. This type of cyberbullying is, for me, is the most serious type of cybercrimes because it could hurt someone's feeling and eventually cause them to end their life.
Assalamualaikum. My name is Rizal Rafiuddin. On this part, I will tell you guys about computer security and ethics. There are 4 principles to ensure your computer security. The first one is restricting access. Restricting access means by limiting access only to authorized people using such as password, firewall, and etc. The second one is encrypting data. Encrypting data is coding information to make it unreadable except to those who have the encryption key. The third one is anticipating disaster. Anticipating disaster is a preparation made for physical security and data security in case of disaster throughout data recovery. The fourth one and the last is preventing data loss. You can prevent the loss of the data of yours by always make a backup or copy of the data and be sure to keep it at a safe place. Okay, on this part, I will tell you guys about restricting access. And currently there are three ways to restricting your access using biometric scanner, automated security task, and password. The first one, biometric scanner. Biometric scanner is a method for security identification and authentication with devices through the identity of a living person based on physiological or behavioral characteristics. And there are two types of biometric scanner that I show you guys on the slide, and that was fingerprint scanner and iris eye scanner. The second one is automated security task. Automated security task is a machine-based execution of security action with the power to programmatically detect, investigate, and remediate cyber threats with or without human intervention by identifying incoming threats, triaging, and prioritizing alerts as they emerge, then responding to them in a timely fashion. And on this slide, I show you guys there are three. I give you an example of automated security tasks such as security suites, firewalls, and password managers. The third one and the last is password. Password is a string of characters used to verify the identity of a user during the authentication process. Passwords are typically used in conjunction with a username. They are designed to be known only to the user and allow that user to gain access to a device, application, or website. Okay, on this part, I will tell you guys about encryption. Encryption is a process that encodes a message or file so that it can only be read by certain people. Encryption uses an algorithm to scramble or encrypt data and then use a key for the receiving party to unscramble or decrypt the information. And currently there are 5 types of encryption. The first one is email encryption. Email encryption is encryption of email message to protect the content from being read by entities other than the intended recipient. Email encryption may also include authentication. The second one is file encryption. File encryption refers to encrypting data stored on disk on a file-by-file basis. In either case, the goal is to prevent unauthorized persons from opening and reading files that are stored on the disk. The third one is website encryption. Website encryption uses HTTPS protocol for protection. HTTPS stands for Hypertext Transfer Protocol Secure. It is the protocol where encrypted HTTP data is transferred over a secure connection by using secure connection such as transport layer security or secure socket layer. The privacy and integrity of data are maintained and authentication of website is also validated. The fourth one is Virtual Private Network or VPN. VPN is used for encrypt connects between company network and their remote users. The fifth one. The fifth is wireless network encryption restrict access to authorized users, or Wi-Fi protected access. Wi-Fi protected access. There are currently three types of Wi-Fi protected access, which are Wi-Fi protected access, Wi-Fi protected access 2, and Wi-Fi protected access 3. These are three security and security certification programs that developed by the Wi-Fi Alliance to secure wireless computer networks. And there is Wi-Fi protected access 2 that includes mandatory support for CCNP and AES based encryption mode. Okay, in this part I will tell you about anticipating disaster. Anticipating disaster is instruction how you to respond to unplanned incident such as natural disaster, power outage, cyber attacks, and any other destructive event. And on this slide, it tells you ways to how to do it. The first one is physical security protects hardware. Data security protects software and data from unauthorized tampering or damage. The third one is disaster recovery plan, which is describe ways to continue operating in the event of a disaster. On the other hand, it's preventing data loss. To prevent the data loss to happen, you have to frequent to backups to your data. You have to have a big or redundant data storage, and the other one is store off-site in case of loss of equipment. And the last part I will talk to you guys about ethics and plagiarisms. Ethics is a standard of moral conduct, and computer ethics is a guideline for the morally acceptable use of computer. And there are copyright. Copyright gives content creator the right to control the use and distribution of their works, such as painting, books, music, film, and video games. And the second one is software piracy. Software piracy is unauthorized copying and distribution of software. And there are digital rights management, DRM, which control access to electronic media, and digital millennium copyright, whose act to protest against piracy. And there are plagiarisms. Plagiarism is a representing some of other person's works and idea as your own without giving credit to the original person's works and idea. You can try to identify plagiarism by using a website.